Hello, Bookworms. Welcome to the Weekend Readers Book Club. Thank you for joining us. In this episode, we are discussing the 1974 released horror thriller story Jaws by Peter Benchley. Jaws, the book, is the story of a shark who is terrorizing a local town, and the sheriff needs to take action because the shark is eating too many people when they're in the water. This story follows the sheriff, Brody, his wife, Alan, a young fish expert, Hooper, and a range of characters in the town as they navigate a shark turning up on their doorstep and eating and killing people, B, what it's going to do to the local town and businesses around it, because the 4th of July is coming up and you need the beach open for that, but the sheriff has other ideas. So, I finished reading the book, and here are my thoughts about Jaws by Peter Benchley. This story is split up into 3 parts. The first part, the shark arrives, and it is very heavy in relation to the main character, Brody, who is the sheriff, what he's going to do, why he's going to do it, and also get the pushback in relation to the townspeople going, don't close that beach. That was okay. Really enjoyed that. I really liked the introduction of having the shark as a character, as Peter Benchley describes what goes on and what's attracting the shark as he's under the water. It was really good to see. And after the first part of the book, I was like, okay, I'm on board. The second part of the book is about Brody's wife, Ellen, and her inability to get sexually satisfied by her husband, and she needs to go out and have sex with Hooper because, well, she's having, not a midlife crisis, but she just doesn't want to have relationships with her husband and decides adultery is the best option. That took me out of the story a little bit. The third part of the story is more the action part of the story, where Brody, the sheriff, Hooper, the young fisherman who had just ploughed Brody's wife, and another gentleman go out on a boat and try and catch and kill the shark. That part there was interesting. It started off slow and it went fast-paced at the very end, and I enjoyed portions of it. This book for me was very all over the place and mixed. If I could take out that middle part about Alan's lustful need to get her vagina ploughed from Hooper, I would take that out. Give me the first part and the third part, bridge it together a little bit, makes for an interesting story. During the final part of the story, where they are out on the boat trying to catch the shark, I would have loved more not character depth, but in the first part, Peter Benchley gives the shark a character. The shark is in the water and he explains why the shark is feeling what he's feeling and then attacking the people in the water. In the final part, so the third part of the book, you get a little bit of that. However, I would have loved to seen more of it, especially at the latter stage where it's an all-out dogfight between Brody, Hooper, the fisherman, and also the shark. It would have been interesting to get the shark's perspective, especially when Hooper decides to go in the water in a shark cage and then ends up getting eaten. That would have been cool to understand what the shark was feeling, because for so much of that third part of the book, they know the shark's there, but they're saying that the shark is just tempting them. The shark's coming into the boat, coming back out, goes away, comes back, goes away, comes back. It would have been great to get a little perspective from the shark on why he's doing it, what vibrations is he feeling, and why has he decided to go back and forth before, the initial final attack. The ending of the story I enjoyed to a degree. I didn't like the way that the character of Brody ended, just, like alive. Solely because of what happened to Hooper and the fisherman whose boat it was. So, it was an ending, but I was just like, you've just killed off 2 of the 3 characters in the third part of the act, or third part of the book. Kill them all, shark. Kill them all. You can tell I was rooting for the shark throughout this whole story. I wanted more shark in this story. That's what I wanted. Now, overall, the book was okay. I don't understand the hype around it. I don't understand how it got picked up to become a movie. It's perplexing to me because it was an okay read. It wasn't an enjoyable read because the whole second act of the story was just his wife wanting to, yearn for a time where she wasn't married to Brody, and Ellen needed to just relive her youth by having an affair. It made no interest to me in the story, and at the end of the day, there was no payoff because the chemistry between, Brody and Hooper, that ended when Hooper got eaten by the shark. So, it is what it is. But unfortunately, a decent read. I enjoyed parts of it, but overall, it was okay. I wouldn't go back to it. So, with that being said, will Jaws by Peter Benchley be going onto my bookshelf? Unfortunately not. This is a book where I would say, because I haven't got the movie to reference, so I'm guessing the movie is similar to the book. If you haven't read Jaws the book, I'd say go out and give it a whirl. If you enjoy the movie, you may learn something new that's in the book that's not in the movie. But overall, it was okay. I, myself, would just never reread this book again. Now, as accustomed here on the Weekend Readers Book Club, as one book closes, another book has to open. And because we are in the spooky month of October, we are going to grab another horror/supernatural book. So it's time to find out what the next read for the Weekend Readers Book Club is. Bookworms, we can confirm that the next read is Printer's Devil Court by Susan Hill. This book, supposedly, is about a ghost. So that's all I know about it. I got it at a book fair. It's a small, wee little book. It's actually under 100 pages. So we're going to give that book a whirl and see if Printer's Devil Court by Susan Hill can spook me out. So that there was our episode and discussion, Bookworms, for Jaws by Peter Benchley. A book I'm happy that I read. Finally got around to reading Jaws, the book that the movie was based off. A book that, was very hit and miss for me. So you can, if you like to, engage with us. We are on social media. Yes, we are. We are on Instagram, Weekend Readers Book Club, and our podcast is available on YouTube and on most podcast providers under the name The Weekend Readers. So, until next time, thank you again for joining us, and Bookworms, happy reading.